Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a pick a card reading. I'm actually going to do elements today. So each of the four elements, fire, earth, air, and water, we're going to go through each one. So you can choose to take this as like one whole reading, or if you want to just watch one or two of the groups, that's totally fine. Just take it however you wish to. So for group one, we're going to start with fire. I did write them down just to help me, but also you, just in case like maybe the colors or there's like something visual that you want to connect with. I just wrote the word down. So fire is group one. Group two is earth. Group three is air. And group four is water. So the timestamps are in the description box below, and I will see you in the reading. At group one for fire signs, welcome to your reading. Or it doesn't have to be fire signs, it could just be the element of fire that you're working with, because we of course need all of them. So group one, fire. The cards that I pulled for you from the decks that I'm using, we have the raccoon and bat coming out together, which I really love because this raccoon does talk about like the inner artist. The inner artist that sometimes prefers to remain anonymous or invisible. That's sort of what comes through with the raccoon energy, but is very creative, is very talented. There's this energy, though, with the raccoon that comes through with shyness or not wanting to shine or not wanting to be in the spotlight, that kind of thing. But because it's coming out with a bat, I feel like there's sort of like an ending to that energy. I feel like there's some sort of creative expression with the raccoon that is wanting to sort of be in the spotlight, which is interesting because as I'm filming this, we're in a full moon in Aries. With the full moon here, full moon in Aries, and of course Aries is a fire sign, which is coming through with this energy of the self, of course. And with the full moon, I feel like this is talking about like perhaps releasing some form of a mask or something like that. Or releasing some form of something that you keep hidden, perhaps, like releasing the hidden aspect in order to let it be free and bring it out into the light in some way. Or that there's just been something that you have been waiting for the right time for, is how it's coming through, because the next couple of cards, you have here the Ace of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune. And with this, because the Ace of Pentacles is talking about like bringing something up, right? Like to the surface or into the light, that kind of thing with the Ace of Pentacles. A new beginning that has to do with the earth in some way, like a physical new beginning. Or that you're nurturing something or growing something. Perhaps you have been waiting a long time, because especially with the raccoon, the inner artist, or like something creative, that perhaps you are trying to make more physical in some way. So I feel like you have been working on this, you have been nurturing it, you've been making space for it perhaps, and finally something new is coming from that. Or a new beginning, it feels like. And it could just be something where it's like the new beginning is you opening up, or you trying something new, or trying something more visible in your creative expression is how it's coming through. Like visible to others is how it's really emphasized, because especially with the bat and the Wheel of Fortune, with this sort of like red opening is kind of how it's feeling. Like it's like the curtains are being pulled away on something or opening up, Because this Wheel of Fortune talks to me about sort of like the inner workings of something. It could be, it's kind of coming through with, I just heard Sagittarius, but it feels kind of like revealing the inner workings of perhaps like a process or of your heart is how it feels, of your heart. The inner workings of your heart, which could be expressed in a very sort of like artistic or Ace of Pentacles kind of way. It doesn't have to be artistic, right? It could just be anything that is, that I feel like you're like doing with your hands or with your body in some way. It's very physical. So it could be that you're creating something. It could be some form of like physical expression. That maybe at a certain point in time you were afraid to share with others, or something that you kept hidden. If it's not like fear necessarily, it's just like you preferred that not to be expressed or seen by other people. It's this energy of being anonymous, but I feel like that's changing. It's like wanting to share your heart with others, perhaps. Like sharing the inner workings of your heart. There's something here also about Wheel of Fortune, like it's kind of like getting something moving again. Maybe there's been a bit of stagnation somewhere. Because sometimes I see this this Wheel of Fortune as being sort of like a machine or a mechanism that has something wrong with it, or like that it's not working properly. It's like you got to put some oil in the machine, that kind of thing, or you got to remove the grit, or you got to clean out the lint or something like that. That maybe there's been a process, like, so it could be something like a creative process or some aspect in your life that hasn't been moving in the way that you want. And it's sort of like cleaning out the machine or the process to get it moving. And perhaps having to reveal something, perhaps about yourself or your heart, in order to figure out what's not working in the machine, right? There's something like that happening. So maybe your art is showing you that, like something that is not working, or like something that needs to be cleaned out, or something that like needs to like go through a bit of maintenance is how it's coming through. Yeah, it's feeling kind of like maintenance of the heart. Okay, so I also pulled tea leaf cards. And the cards that you got here were really interesting. You have Gavel, involvement with the law, Elephant, a long journey, either physical or mental, that will leave you wiser at the end. And then Purse, pay attention to your finances. So I feel like this is kind of coming through as being, it has been a long journey. It has been a long journey. Maybe you have been dealing with some sort of like involvement with the law. It could be some sort of legal matter. It could be anything to do with like a contract, and finances is what's coming through here. I feel like maybe there's an ending to that because you have the bat. Maybe there's been some sort of like contract that has something to do with finances, is how it's coming through, that you have not been showing to other people or telling other people about. It's kind of like something that you've been dealing with on your own, but there's some sort of ending happening in that, whatever it is. An ending to a long journey is how it's coming through, and there's a new beginning for you. And I feel like part of the new beginning involves like sharing your heart or revealing the inner workings of something that perhaps has been hidden or behind a curtain. It's feeling very positive, like a relief. I feel like whatever this journey has been, you have become wiser with the elephant. There may also be sort of like financial return is how it's coming through. A financial return from whatever this situation was. So if it's not like a legal matter, like with the court and things like that, it could just be more like like say if there were financial losses, maybe is how it's coming through. Like maybe there was some sort of contract or situation where you had a financial loss in some way in order to maybe teach you about like taking better care of your financial health, or it could be something like about like the proper care of something or the proper maintenance of something. It feels kind of, it's interesting. It kind of feels like something where maybe there was like something about like your finances being used or being it feels kind of like something where finances were not being used properly, or that there was like something about like the emotions is how it's coming through with the heart. Like with the Wheel of Fortune, it feels kind of like a lesson or something like that, like having to learn how something works. And it feels kind of like there's an association between your emotions, like how you feeling, and what you're spending on or what you're investing in, that kind of thing. There's a link there that I feel like you were needing to clean out or work through or somehow make sure that it was running properly. And I feel like you're at the end of this journey or nearing it, and you have become wiser for this. It is an ending and a new beginning in that. I feel like if there's been something here with like your inner artist, that phrase keeps wanting to come through. It feels kind of like proper expression of something was the key. Like proper, not proper, like a healthy emotional expression was key in somehow healing. This is what's coming through. An expression of the heart is really being emphasized here. An expression of the heart. But I feel like somehow that was being confused with like gifts or money. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so you have sky, wind, and earth. I'm going to read that first. There's something about symmetry here, right? Which is that energy of balance, or with the involvement of the law, there could be something about like a balance, or like something where it's become balanced. As a quantum creator, you are manifesting your life in every moment with everything you allow into your consciousness, as well as everything you put back out into the field. If you want to live a life of joy, beauty, inspiration, and abundance, then it's up to you to allow only things that are joyful, beautiful, inspirational, and abundant into your consciousness. Turn your attention towards the things that inspire you and that make you feel alive. Do not waste your time on dreary media or negative conversations that bring you down. It is your responsibility to protect the sanctity of your mind and to make sure that you are feeding it beautiful things. Remember, what you put in your ears always goes into your heart. So keep your ears clean and listen only to beauty and greatness. Yeah. There's something here about maintenance of the heart, right? Keeping your heart clean, so to speak. Which is interesting because I feel like there's something about that was that you have cleaned out, right? Like, because it's coming through as being like what you take in is what you put out. I feel like there was something here about like your output, what you were giving to others, your expression of the heart that was with the blue moths here, right? The throat chakra is talking about expression, whether or not that's through words or not, right? Like it's an energy of expressing yourself. So I feel like maybe it's coming through as being like concluding or getting closure about a situation where what you were expressing was not in alignment with what your heart felt or something like that. And it has something to do with your finances as well. That's all tied in for some reason. It could also be something where it's like maybe you were spending a lot of resources. If it's not finances exactly, it's like maybe you were spending a lot of resources on something that you weren't really invested in emotionally. And that could be part of like the cleanup, so to speak, like no longer investing in things that don't resonate with you. It could be financial or emotional or that kind of thing. It's like it's coming through as being like cleaning out your heart or what inspires you or that kind of thing. It feels kind of like a cleaning out process that's coming to a close. Because I feel like there's something here with the raccoon going through the bat energy. It's like a closure energy, like moving through that, moving past that, ending that. Perhaps there's something like final that you're releasing here with the full moon in Aries. This card is so interesting because it's an air card, right? The sky. But there's also an earth component, and fire is represented by this triangle in the middle. So it's coming through as being like the connection between what inspires you, fire, what drives you, what is what ignites your flame, so to speak. And how you express that with the throat chakra and air. And then how that manifests in the physical, which is coming through with the earth and the Ace of Pentacles. So I feel like there's something here about like healing that connection is giving you this new beginning with the Ace of Pentacles. This Ace of Pentacles is something that is very much in alignment with you. It's like getting sort of like everything in working order is how it's feeling with the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. I feel okay, so this card, Fire, Wildfire, Moon, and this is the full moon energy. Maybe there are still some things that like something to do with anger, temper, things that sort of ignite your emotions in a negative way, that is being released, is how it's coming through with the full moon. that is probably something that maybe you could focus on, like releasing anger from the past, especially if it was a situation where like it's kind of coming through as like feelings where like other people took advantage of you or tried to take advantage of you, or situations where like money or finances or resources were lost because of a like another person trying to take advantage of you. That's how it's coming through, or like trying to like take from you. I feel like if there's any residual anger, that is what's being released, or this would be a good opportunity to release those energies with the full moon in Aries. Something about having like a safe space to howl at the moon is what's coming through. Having a safe space to howl at the moon without it becoming sort of destructive or anything like that. Perhaps you've already worked through that. Yeah. Interesting, yeah. Okay, so you have fire, candle, earth, land, cave, moon. So this is talking to me about like this is sort of the safe space of going within, land, cave, and moon. And then because it's kind of like you don't want maybe part of the lesson here for you, group 1, was about like learning about your own fire, learning about your fire and how to use that fire for something that is like creative, inspirational, because that's what this card is coming through with, the creation, the inspiration, like inspiring others, because that could be a very fiery energy as well. And not having it end up like this, which is sort of like anger, temper, conflict. So I feel like maybe that was part of the lesson for you, like learning about, but there's a interesting energy here, because sometimes anger, right? Like especially if it's like anger about injustice, I think that could be a very powerful way to use anger, right? To rectify an injustice that has been done. Perhaps maybe to you, but perhaps I feel like it's best used when it's like to defend others, in my opinion. But it could be something where like there was an injustice done to you and you had to stand up for yourself, right? That could be sort of a positive way to harness your own anger in a way that is inspirational and ends up helping other people. So there could have been a lesson in that. And I feel like there's something to do with like, you have mastered that now. Like you have harnessed your fire in a way that is uplifting and inspiring to others. And knowing when to sort of like cool it down, right? With this land, cave, and moon energy. That, because it feels like there's like, things are moving again, is how it's coming through. There's a new beginning because of this. Because I feel like there's something, maybe there was a seed planted a while ago with the Ace of Pentacles that is starting to grow. There was a seed planted a long time ago that is starting to grow, but it wasn't going to grow when this was present, right? That's not a good environment for this seed to grow. I feel like it is starting to now. It feels like that. There's which is interesting because it almost looks like this is the seed. that is starting to grow. Fire, candle, earth. I'm going to read that one. The flame from one candle can be used to light 100 more. This is how a single light illuminates many. Do you see where I am going with this? In order to create the change that this world is calling for, it is time for you to shine brightly and to share your light and to ignite the flame of awakening in others. You, yes, you, are a leader born from the flame of truth and forged with the courage and the strength to do what you came to do on this planet. Live giant, light the flames of others, and be a leader of legacy. That time is now. Okay, because there's something here about the raccoon, the inner artist, where it was hidden. There was an aspect of you, perhaps, or like some sort of new beginning for you, where you had to learn about fire, or you had to learn about your flame, and how that can ignite others. It can ignite others into anger, but it can also ignite people into inspiration and leadership and creativity as well. So I feel like there's something about here for you, group 1, where there's an energy of fire in terms of inspiration and creativity. But perhaps you had to learn that lesson through anger or through experiences that caused conflict. Okay, group 1, fire. I'm going to leave it there. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. Hi, group 2. This is the earth reading. So maybe you're an earth sign, or maybe you are working with the earth element, or maybe you're just feeling called to this reading. So for earth, your energy feels great. And you're starting off here with the elephant and the eagle, which is a very powerful combination. Which is interesting because the elements that are coming through here are fire and air. Because elephant is fire, and the eagle card in this deck represents both mastery of fire and air, which is really interesting. And you have the 8 of Wands, which is also coming through as fire and air today. So maybe there's a message in the fire and air readings as well that may be relevant to you in some way. But it's really interesting because the elephant talks about destroying obstacles. It is coming through with a lot of movement today, but it was interesting because I feel like there was also this energy here of stillness, which is interesting. It's like it's both movement and stillness, because normally I see this elephant as like moving very quickly, right? The destroyer of obstacles. But today it was looking like they're standing still. So there may be something here about like you are waiting for a particular gust of wind to carry you to do something, because it feels kind of like instead of forcing something, instead of pushing forward, instead of like destroying an obstacle, it's like you're waiting for the air to carry you over the obstacle is how it's feeling. Because what's interesting is that you have the 3 of Swords next. So this 3 of Swords actually kind of comes through with more of this energy of like something about like a target, or it's not quite target. It's coming through with like isolating a problem or identifying. Sorry, I had an everything bagel, so I feel like poppy seeds are all in my teeth. Anyways, this 3 of Swords feels kind of like isolating a problem, or like if in the case of like medical kind of examples, right? Like finding a diagnosis to the pain, like why there's pain or that kind of thing. So it's not, if it's not that exactly, it's kind of like understanding what the problem is. That's how it's coming through. And especially with the eagle, this card is also this energy of like a eureka moment, like overcoming a problem. It is feeling very much like that for you, Earth, group 2, overcoming a problem or getting the answer to something or understanding like some sort of solution or something like that. And I feel like there is this sort of energy of like working with air and earth, or air and fire, I should say, because it's like, I feel like right now you're sending out a lot of intentions, right? It feels like planning, which is all this fire energy, right? Like planning, organizing, I wouldn't feel as fire, but maybe like rearranging things or like shifting things around. Perhaps you are actually taking action in some way. But it feels very much like intentions. It could also be that you're like, with the air, could be like organizing things, or like, it feels very strongly like setting intentions or making plans to move forward once something has happened. It's kind of feeling like you're waiting for something, like waiting for the right time, waiting for the light to turn green, waiting for like something to clear maybe so that you can move forward, is how it's feeling to me. And in the meantime, like setting intention. So I feel like this 3 of Swords is not necessarily a bad thing. It feels kind of just like there's, now that you know what the problem is, working through it. That's how it feels. Anyways, so you have bell, announcement, bowl, plenty of material things, and the tent, a temporary solution. Because with these cards especially, it kind of feels like there's, with the bell, announcement, like waiting for something, right? Like waiting for the bell to ring, that kind of thing. Waiting for the bell to ring, waiting for the right time. Waiting for a particular announcement maybe, or something like that. And in the meantime, you're in this temporary solution or temporary situation. But there are a lot of things here for you to do, is how it's coming through. Like a lot of things to either clean up or work through or entertain yourself with. Like it's kind of like there's movement in that way, where it's like it feels like the opposite of boredom. It feels like you're doing a lot of things while waiting for the right time, is how it's coming through. I feel like the 3 of Swords combined with the eagle is kind of feeling like, it's feeling very strongly like some sort of diagnosis. I don't know if it's like medical or like in terms of your body, or just like energetically it could be understanding what the issue was, or what was underlying a particular set of circumstances, maybe. Underlying circumstance. What's underlying the circumstance? I feel like you're getting energies into alignment, Earth. It feels very good though. It feels like being productive. Ooh. Yeah. Fire, wildfire, earth. Yeah, there's a lot of fire in this reading, even though this is the earth. So I feel like part of how you work with the earth is to embrace your fire. Okay, I'm going to read this one. When someone gives you a gift, you don't just mutter thanks and then put it aside without opening it. When someone offers you a gift, you must unwrap it and share it so that others see it and appreciate it along with you. My love, the spark of life inside of you, that fierce flame that burns from within, is a gift like none other. It is your duty as well as your birthright to share it with the world. Now is the time to express your gifts. Now is the time to shine your light so that others can reflect upon it and draw from its heat. Then step up to shine their own light and their own gifts along with you. This is what being a leader is all about. Interesting. Because for you, group 2, it feels kind of like standing still is part of your gift, is how it's coming through. I feel like there's this energy of endurance with you that is coming through with this, like, or that you have been willing to endure a lot of obstacles, and that's part of your gift. Like the elephant, so strong. There's this movie called The Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. And it's coming through with, like, I feel like Taurus, interesting. Maybe you're a Taurus. Because I feel like, because today this energy is coming through with a lot of Taurus, but fire, which is really interesting. Anyways, that movie, The Fall Guy, he's a stuntman for an action star. Because I'm seeing this as kind of like you, group 2, are this energy of like the fall guy in that movie, where maybe you have gone through a lot of trial and tribulation, but you still get up after that. It's like, even if something knocks you down, you get back up, right? You're still standing is how it's feeling to me. That's how it's coming through. And I feel like there's something here about like understanding the truth about a situation, like, and especially if it was something about like a heartbreak or like something from the past that was really hurt, like that caused you harm, perhaps. Understanding the truth of that, of like why it happened, that maybe it wasn't your fault is how it's coming through. Because there's something about like perhaps you were blaming yourself or taking on a lot of like self blame, it feels like, or it kind of feels like being really hard on yourself maybe, when it maybe wasn't your fault. That's how it's coming through. And I feel like right now you're in the process of learning that, of understanding the truth about a situation and your strength or your gifts. Yeah. Interesting. This card has been coming up a lot. This came out in the Capricorn reading as well. So there's, and then it's another fire card. This one talks about, anyways, I'll just read it. Your authentic individual expression represents the spark of life within you. This life-giving energy inside of you isn't meant to just illuminate your own life, but the lives of many. The world needs you to be as much you as you can be. Believe in who you are, in your uniqueness and your goodness, and in all the wonderful ways you express, without needing validation from anyone but yourself. When we fill our own cups by acknowledging how wonderful we are, our light shines brighter and greater and farther and wider, beyond this one little third dimension. At the same time, allow yourself to be honored and appreciated by others for all that you are. You deserve it. It's interesting that the energy of the fall guy is coming through. Maybe there was something about, because the story of that is that they're trying to, the movie star is trying to place blame onto Ryan Gosling's character for something he didn't do. Maybe there's something about that. I feel like you are overcoming some sort of challenge, for sure. A big challenge, it feels like. And you're just waiting for almost like the final scene or the final act in this case, or the final moment. Huh. An announcement. It feels kind of like there's something like, if it's not an announcement, it's like a very clear indication that this part of the cycle is over. And something else about like the fall guy, like the stunt men who do all of the stunts, right? Who put their lives in danger, so to speak, who metaphorically, right? But who don't get sort of like the credit maybe, or like they're not the face, if that makes sense. There's something here about like perhaps receiving acknowledgement for something, or being okay with not receiving that as well, because it's coming through as being, especially with this energy, right? It's not that you're doing something for the acknowledgement, but that is part of it, at least to yourself, with the validation, like validating something within yourself, not seeking the validation of others. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, this card is about feeling your emotions, because we have, so water, waterfall, moon. So maybe there was a Three of Swords energy that you're feeling or you're releasing in some way. They're called emotions for a reason. They are energy in motion, which means they need to move. When we repress our emotions, shut them down, and pretend like we're not having them, we create stagnation in the body and in the spirit and in the collective intelligence. Holding on to emotional discord creates imbalances in our character and limits our ability to perceive and access the possibilities that are available to us. Release the energy that you are holding inside so that you can propel yourself beyond the fragmentation and beyond the stagnation into the truth. Feelings are never wrong and feelings are never bad, so don't go judging them. Just feel them. Allow them to flow through the entirety of your being and see how the beauty of this simple, honest act of expression creates expansion in your whole life. Okay, Earth sign. I feel like there's, or Earth, I should just say, Earth in general, group 2. Perhaps there was an emotional experience, Three of Swords, that you were either resisting or like trying to ignore or like avoiding, but I feel like it is like you're feeling it. You're feeling it is how it's going, like coming through, like you're experiencing it, and that's allowing something to move. There's a lot of movement in your energy today. Like, but it's interesting because it feels kind of like also allowing a pause in order to feel these emotions also helps to move you forward in the long run. So it's kind of coming through as being like allowing space and time and a pause to feel a Three of Swords energy, and then you can move forward. Okay, what's this temporary situation? Yeah, this card has been coming up so much. This is a very Capricornian energy because it talks about achievement. Maybe the last Capricorn reading that I did might have insights for you as well, even if you're not a Capricorn. And this combination also came out in one of yesterday's readings. Pisces or Cancer. I can't remember which one it was. Well, it's talking about creating something, like bringing something into the physical in some way. This card talks about achievement, like working steadily towards something. I feel like that's part of your the solution to something is to like keep working at it. But it may have something to do with like fire and water. Feels like, I feel like fire and water elements, and also air, there is air here too, are helping you to achieve something in the physical. So it's kind of feeling to me like where instead of just doing like earthly things for you, for Earth, for group 2, instead of focusing on earthly things, maybe that has been your usual way of doing things, like very Capricorn, like doing things very steadily, doing things sort of like routine and all of that. I feel like there's something here that is shifting about your like intentions, maybe because you've identified a 3 of Swords energy that hasn't been working for you. That's how it's coming through. And it kind of feels like when you identify what the problem is, right? Like it's really coming through like a medical diagnosis, like as an example, where it's like you understand what the problem is now so that you can actually start healing that, or like it feels kind of like now that you know what the answer is, you can work with that energy more. And it feels kind of like it happens with water and fire. I feel like maybe you're balancing those 2 energies, like water and fire. And air is also in there as well. Maybe the air is not quite there yet. Maybe you're healing something about air, and it feels kind of like throat or mind energy. Your like communication or your thoughts. You're healing something about that area through fire and water, which is interesting. I feel like you're balancing something about like your emotions, like how you feel, and your passion, or like what drives you, or how to work through challenge is how it's coming through. But you are achieving something. You are achieving something. I feel like where you are right now is temporary because you're working through something. It's temporary. You're working through something. You're waiting for the right time. Feels like. Okay, group 2. I'm going to leave it there. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. Hi, group 3. This is the reading for the element of air. So maybe you're an air sign, or maybe you're working with the air element. Okay, air sign, or air, group 3, I should say. Very interesting energy. You have a lot of fire. But the animal cards that are coming out for you, you have starfish, cheetah, and tiger, which is really interesting because, of course, cheetah and tiger are fire. Starfish is water. But if you just look at the imagery of this, right, the cheetah and the starfish, which is looking to me like, so interesting because cheetah in this deck represents divine masculine. Tiger in this deck represents like divine feminine energy, which is really interesting, this combination. And the starfish is coming out as being like there's something here about like, because the starfish is something that's like very attractive, very alluring. You want to be around it, but there is a warning of something being sort of superficial. So, or like no substance, right? Like something that's just superficial, just beautiful on the outside, but there's no substance to it. So there's something here about that, about like being conscious of not chasing something that is superficial or like very beautiful or attractive on the outside. And I feel like this tiger energy is coming in as being sort of like, because sometimes I see this tiger energy as being like using your intuition because something about the situation feels off. That's how it's coming through here. So it's interesting that there's something about like the cheetah aspect, because I feel like these are actually like both aspects of you, where maybe your masculine energy, regardless of what gender you are, I'm just talking about energy. There's something where it's like you maybe want to chase something or go after something that is like very attractive, very inspiring, very alluring. You want to be around it. There's an aspect within you, the masculine aspect, that wants to chase, is how it's coming through. Then the feminine energy, though, within you is coming through as being like, hold on a second. Something is not right here. Or like there's something that maybe you feel suspicious of. Which is interesting as well, because you have the two tarot cards you have are the Ace of Wands and the Two of Wands that came out. So much fire, right? Because the Ace of Wands is something about like your inspiration, your creativity. It could be very sexual as well with this energy here. Like there could be something that is like really, really attractive in whatever way. You're attracted to it. It perhaps is like very sexually attractive, but I feel like there's this caution here within you. Group 3 of like, is this something just superficial, right? There's nothing inherently wrong with that. But there's something here about like, because you have here the horse, you have tiger out again, right? Doing something risky, taking a chance, and a chain of events that will affect your life. Because I feel like there's something here about like maybe caution about like the long-term consequences of something that might feel very flighty on the surface, right? Like it's kind of just like, if it is something sexual, it feels kind of like there's like, okay, maybe you're there's this energy here of like, for example, it doesn't even have to be sexual for you. It could be some sort of like creative or inspirational or whatever, fiery kind of energy. But it's something like, if it's like a one night stand, for example, like what about in the future? What happens then? Because it could be something where it's like there may be more long-term consequences of something that's very short-term, if you understand my meaning. There could be something where it's like, what if you get pregnant from a one-night stand? Like that, that's what this energy is coming through with the tiger. So, and with the Two of Wands, it comes in with this energy of planning, like looking to the future. So there's something here about like, maybe there's something that you want to go after, right? With the cheetah energy, there's something that you want, something that is like, it's coming through with desire with the starfish. But there's also this other aspect of you, the feminine energy, which is looking at, okay, is that too risky? Is that going to mess up my future plans? And sort of resisting that is how it's coming through, which is really interesting. The horse here, short journey. Yeah, it's kind of coming through with like a one night stand kind of energy. Like maybe that might not be the best, like, well, do what you want, but it feels kind of like there may be sort of like an energy here of fearing long-term consequences from something that is a short-term pleasure, or that kind of energy. Very interesting. Air signs. It doesn't have to be the example that I gave, right? Just generally speaking, it's coming through as being like, there's something that you desire that feels like it would be very, it's like quick or short term, or like it would be very short, on a short-term scale, very gratifying, very satisfying, very pleasurable. But there's a fear of long-term consequences, right? A chain of events that might unfold if you do go after this, is how it's coming through. It's whatever this is, it's like it's a very attractive person or opportunity or inspiration or project or something like that. Okay. Very interesting. Because the ego came out in the earth sign reading as well. Water, lake, and earth. Human connection is healthy and inspiring and wonderful when it's coming from a healthy place. But a lot of the time humans reach out to connect with one another, not because they have anything to give or are even in a place to connect in an authentic way, but because they just don't want to be alone. That's not healthy connection. That's codependent bullshit. It's fine if you want to reach out to a friend for a conversation or a picnic, but make sure you're not reaching out to avoid being with yourself. Genuine connection arises out of stillness. Anchor yourself in your own stillness and your own connection with nature before picking up the phone and inviting that friend to meet up for tea. Only when you've grounded yourself in your own foundation will you truly be able for authentic connection. I feel like that's giving you the answer right there, air sign. Because it kind of feels like a person, I'm not going to lie, with this starfish energy. Someone who's perhaps very attractive that you want to go after or whatever. There's this energy of like chase coming in where it's like it's just coming in with a caution, group 3, about your reasoning for, or your what it is that's actually causing this desire. Is it something about codependency? Or if that's not resonating, maybe something more like this energy would be something where it's like you don't feel alone, or there's this energy of like it feels kind of like it may be like an escape from where you are or what you're dealing with. It's just coming through with the caution. Of course, use your discernment. Because I feel like there's something here about like there may be long-term consequences of whatever this thing is. Maybe you're not seeing the long-term consequences, but I feel like you are, though. Because it's coming through with 2 of Wands, right? You are looking ahead. You are looking ahead. It feels, though, that there's something like something attractive that's around you that it's kind of like, would it pull you away from your long-term plans? Maybe that's a question that you're asking yourself. Because the tiger's coming out twice. Sometimes I see this tiger energy as being like healing trauma. It does come through with that energy for the tiger. Healing trauma. And for it to be coming out twice, I feel like whatever this attractive new thing, person, project is, would actually be something that it's like something related to a past trauma of yours that that you've healed or are healing. Like it's kind of, because it's kind of coming through with like, perhaps this is something that you have perhaps like locked away, or like it's gone through healing. You've not been focused on that, and it's like there's something here that's now asking you to focus on that. This area where perhaps it has gone through healing of a particular trauma, and now it's like, okay, there may be fear or this feeling of like this feels risky because it's so attractive is how it's going through. Okay. Group 3. Land, cave, and earth. Let me get one more card. Because I feel like what I'm seeing with this card as well is kind of like this like narrow focus, right? With the cheetah. Because I feel like your desire for something is creating almost like a very narrow focus, and the guidance, I suppose, would be to like almost like take a step back, right? To take a step back and to look at it from a higher perspective, or from the perspective of the Two of Wands, right? Like instead of being like really, really focused on something, looking at the bigger picture maybe could help. This card has been coming up a lot as well. Okay, I'm going to read 68 because there's another like fiery, because you have cheetah, tiger, and now lion coming out. Very interesting. There's a lot of fire as well in this reading. There's so much fire. Okay, 68. When you hold great riches within the depths of your being, these gifts will wither and decay if you continue to hide them and keep yourself in isolation. You must connect with others. You must stand in the power of your vulnerability and trust that the treasures you have to share will be well received, because they will. The more willing you are to share your gifts, the faster and greater those gifts will grow and multiply, increasing their vitality and breathing new life into you and into everyone you touch. Be courageous now, knowing that others' appreciation for the beauty you have to share will gift you a greater appreciation for all that you were once inspired to keep hidden. Your bravery will allow others the chance to reflect the inner beauty you carry and will lift you to greater levels of self-acceptance. I feel like for you, group 3, there might be a fear of sharing yourself, of like fear, could be intimately in some way. It could be a fear of like sexual intimacy as well, especially with this, all of this fire coming in. It could be that, especially with this, this card, because this card talks about like not being afraid to shine. Maybe you aren't trusting your own desire, is how it's feeling to me. Maybe you aren't trusting your own passion, or because it feels almost like being very cautious. Not a bad thing, but to the point where it's like your caution, like the caution is turning into fear about sharing yourself, of opening up, of it's coming through with sharing your gifts. Because the tiger coming up twice, I feel like it's an energy of like, it feels very risky. There's something about this energy that doesn't feel safe to you. That could be a response from like healing trauma, right? Like if there's a particular experience that you are resisting, or you're trying to hide or not engage in order to protect yourself, that's coming in with this energy of fear. And I feel like maybe there's this energy of like stepping back from something, like not going after something, because of fear of your own passion or fire, is how it's coming through. Because, you know, there are long-term consequences for that. I feel like that's being used as sort of like a rationalizing your own fire, right? Like trying to talk yourself out of, or trying to talk yourself from, like, it does feel like trying to talk yourself out of doing something like this, right? Because what if something bad happens? What if I'm stuck with like a long-term consequence that I don't want, or that I'm not ready for, or like it's all of this like mind energy, right? And especially with air and fire coming in, because sometimes air, depending on how strong those energies are, can blow out the fire, right? So it's almost like I'm seeing this as being like trying to think your way out of something that you desire to like blow out the flames, right? It's like if I there's this card at the bottom of the deck, like using all of your mind, your intellect, your rationalization, your logic to outthink, to blow out the fire, because there may be a fear of that, a fear of fire, a fear of short-term ecstasy getting a long-term consequence of that you weren't ready for, or that you're not expecting, or like it's kind of coming through like that. But it feels like whatever this is feels like it's been building for a while, is actually how it's coming through, and like you cannot ignore it anymore. I feel like it is time to act, but there's a resistance, or fear. It feels like fear. Fear that's masked as caution. Okay. So this one, fire, candle, star, and water, lake, moon. I feel like you're ready, group 3. You are ready. I just don't think that you feel that way. Okay. Creativity exists in the realm of the unknown, and the unknown is a realm of darkness as well as great mystery. Do not be afraid of the dark. The darkness has secrets to share and paths to illuminate and treasures to gift you. When night falls and the world stills and your mind quiets, it is time for you to awaken and to embark upon a journey of discovery. The darkness is beckoning you. There you will tap into new knowledge and undiscovered creativity. There in the still of night, you will find magic waiting for you. Be brave, be bold. Trust that the spirits are holding you, because they are. It's a fear of the unknown. Group 3. I feel like there's a fear of the unknown. Whatever it is that you're about to step into, because I feel like you're getting ready for it, even if you are denying that. You're about to step into the unknown. It feels like it could be I don't know. You're going to be learning something. You're going to be experiencing something new. I feel like there's also something here, though, of like, be very cautious. No, not going to phrase it like that. Be very aware of what it is that you're thinking about this situation, because it feels kind of like there's like, you're trying to rationalize not moving forward because of fear of the unknown, fear of the darkness, quote unquote, because I feel like whatever it is that you're going into, it's going to be new. It's going to be different. You're not going to know necessarily what's ahead for you. Or you're not going to know what the events are, it feels like, especially with this chain card coming out, like, because it feels like fear of like a chain reaction of consequences. But I feel like consequences is not the right word here, but I feel like that's how you're feeling about it, like that there'll be negative consequences from an ill-planned or spontaneous or superficially charming or attractive kind of energy. And it's like, just trust that this is in your best interest. Trust that this path is for you. It feels risky. It feels unsafe, perhaps, because it is something where you have healed this aspect of yourself, and the memory or the memory perhaps of past trauma might be the thing that's saying, be careful, be careful, be careful. Trust in yourself. Trust in like this tiger energy within you, that if there is something unexpected or something that happens that was like not something that you planned for example, like that it'll be okay. Everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna work out. Like, trust in your magic, trust in your intuition. You're not gonna suddenly lose those things because of this like attractive opportunity that's coming through. I feel like someone's not trusting themselves about like, because this thing, whatever the starfish is so attractive that it almost like takes you out of your mind. Okay. It might be something like that. It's like, it's so attractive that you can't focus on things maybe. And it's like you don't always have to be thinking. I feel like that's that might be part of the fear group 3. Like, you don't always have to be in your head about things. Okay. It's gonna be fine. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. Hi, group 4. This is for the water element, or for water signs, if you are choosing to look at it that way. This is the last reading that I'm doing, and I was actually going to start with water, but I felt like I had to do the other signs first. So you are the last but not least water sign, but as soon as I tried to tap into your energy, like just this energy of like overwhelm sort of came over me. Like, it was kind of coming through like very heavy with this energy today. So if you're working with water, or if you're, because it kind of feels like emotional overwhelm of some sort. And the tea leaf cards that are coming out, I'm going to start with them because they are a bit heavy. You have here Weeping Willow, Family Sorrow, and then the Casket. Someone going out of your life, or the end of a situation. So if you have lost someone in your family, I'm very sorry for your loss. That is how it is coming through. Or if it's not that, because that's not going to be for everyone, of course. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen in your family. It's already happened, whatever this event is. If it resonates for you, then that's the message for you. If it's not, then we can interpret it a different way. So just take it how it resonates. If it's not that, literally, then it's some sort of ending, it feels like, that is impacting a large group of people. So it doesn't, or like a group of people, a family or something like that. It doesn't have to be necessarily someone has died. It could be that like there's an ending. There's a very final ending, it feels like, that someone is actually, because I'm seeing it, if it is like a funeral or something like that, it doesn't have to be of a person, remember? It could be anything that has ended, right? There's this cleaning up process that I'm getting. There's a lot to take care of, a lot to organize, a lot to do on a sort of practical level, where I feel like that's the energy that's coming in for water, is like, water is coming in to like clean out something after it has ended. But for whoever this reading is for, it's kind of feeling like there's an overwhelm, perhaps, of like having to do all those things, of course, because there's an emotional aspect to all the things that you're doing. And the cards that you're getting here, because you have the 8 of Pentacles coming out, which is coming in with this earthy, sort of practical, lots of things to do. A lot of things to take care of, a lot of tasks to take care of. But there's a heaviness on the chest. Like, whatever these tasks are, it's weighing heavy, is how it's coming through. emotionally, perhaps, it feels very strongly like that. There's a lot to do, and there's an overwhelm about that. And so what was coming through, because the other cards that you have out here, you have bird flying, news is on the way. You have the King of the King of Wands, I should say, which is directly facing the Eight of Pentacles. And then you have Peacock and the Hawk. So the Hawk is emphasizing this sort of like news is on the way for you. Because I feel like there's assistance on its way for you. Water, group 4, because it's kind of like there's something about, because I was getting kind of like, for you, for this group, I was getting kind of like, I had to do the other elements first, which was coming through as being like, all the other elements, fire, air, and earth, all had a significant fire energy about them. All of them, every single one had very strong fire in it. You have a lot of the other elements besides this King of Wands, which I feel like is not you. Because I feel like this is coming through as being like, somebody is coming in. Somebody meaning like every other sign is coming in as a support to help you with your tasks, is how it's coming through, or your whatever it is that you're doing. Because this King of Wands to me is very action oriented. They're very driven. They're very passionate. They have a goal, a purpose. They have drive and momentum, and they're driven by the heart. And so it's coming through as being like this King of Wands energy, and it may be through multiple people are sort of coming in to help support you with all the things that you're needing to get done. It's coming in with also like news is on the way. There's sort of like a message or something. Excuse me. 1 second. Sorry, my allergies. Hopefully they go away soon because the weather's getting colder. Anyways. Okay, group 4. This Peacock energy, because this card comes through as being like, usually it comes in with sort of like being able to digest different experiences, like being able to understand why something happened and things like that. Being able to integrate all sorts of information. If you're not there yet, it is arriving. Like, it's kind of coming through as being like, maybe you're at the phase right now, or the energy right now, where you're receiving a lot of information, but not quite seeing how it ties together yet. And news is on the way about that. Like, clarity is coming in. Something that will provide direction is kind of how it's coming through. It's on the way, though. It kind of feels like a very, like, I want to say, like, simple solution. A simple solution that ties everything together is kind of how it's feeling to me. Yeah. Yeah, sky, rainbow, earth. And there's like the little droplets of water. The rainbow, right? The rainbow after the rain. You know how some people have completely different personalities depending on whom they spend time with? Like, they'll be really open and playful and silly when they're hanging out with you, but then you go to a dinner party together and suddenly they enunciate differently and act all formal and reserved and quote magazine articles and pretend they don't watch television. Yeah, don't be like that. It is important to be yourself with people and to allow them to see and engage the many facets of you. It is only when we see ourselves, all of ourselves, reflected through the eyes of other people, that we can truly expand our awareness of ourselves. The act of being seen by others expands the spectrum of life available for us to experience, which allows our hearts to grow and our community to grow and our family to grow. It's like my ancestors always tell me, sweet rewards await the ones who can accept the all in order to see the self. Okay, group 4. I feel like there's something here, there's an energy here of like authenticity as well with the King of Wands. Maybe there's something here about like, because the peacock can also come in with this energy of like pretending to be something that you're not, that kind of thing, like putting on a show, that kind of energy. I don't know if that's you or if this is just an energy around you. Maybe there's something here about like you are grieving some aspect of, I don't know what it is you're grieving, but it feels kind of like whatever that thing is that you're grieving, it was somehow tied to like split aspects of yourself. Like there were parts of your life that were being split by whatever this energy is, and this is coming through as being like integrating that. It's integrating is kind of how it's coming through. And the water element is coming in to sort of like wash away anything that's inauthentic or not you or not true to you, or but I feel like it's bringing a lot of clarity and acceptance about that. I feel like because it kind of feels like with this 8 of Pentacles, part of whatever it is that you're doing, like in terms of like very practical things, was somehow like hiding some aspect of your true self, is how it's feeling to me. I feel like it's something about like okay, 1 second. Okay, sorry. So I feel like there's something here about truth and authenticity in a very practical way, or like whatever, because the 8 of Pentacles can sometimes come in with like work, right? It's a very Capricorn energy that's coming through today for this, where it's like something about that aspect of your life was not authentic to you, is how it's coming through. Or that it was kind of coming through as being like, it was, whatever it was hiding an aspect of you that needs to be seen or needs to come out. And the water is almost like, but what's interesting though, is that I feel like water is almost not present here, because it's kind of coming through as being like, water is actually being dried up by fire through actions in some way, because fire has been a huge theme in all of the other readings, that fire is actually what's helping to clean something out, like actions, it feels like. I feel like there's something about actions that you're needing to take, group 4. Something about actions speak louder than words, of course. And you have a lot of air as well, because you have the peacock and the hawk. Okay. Sky, snow, and earth. I think that's the first time there's a snow card to come out. The water sign readings from this week might be helpful to you. Okay. Holding on to resentments and negative feelings towards others is easy. It's also a great way to shut down your heart and turn it to stone. It is far more challenging to keep your heart open and to accept people for who they are and where they're at without judgment, without expectation. Sorry, my timer. Without judgment, without expectation, and without an agenda. It's also far more rewarding. Holding unconditionally loving and accepting space for the people in your life takes courage and compassion. You're being asked to see your family and your friends and your community through the heart and to sidestep the trappings of the mind that would have you judging them, resenting them, and wishing they were different. To heal the collective, we must heal ourselves and our relationships and allow our tribe members the space they need to learn and to grow at their own pace and their own ways. I sound so nasally right now because of my allergies. Sorry. So this card is coming through with, like, I feel like for whoever I'm speaking to, there's this energy of, like, using work, Eight of Pentacles energy, or, like, keeping busy to mask how one really feels about something. And there's something here about, like, being authentic in that, because it's kind of, like, authentic in how you feel. Because with this rainbow card, it was talking about, like, people being different people depending on who's around them, right? Like, there's something about, like, you should be the same person no matter what environment you're in. I know that that's not always possible. There are ways in which we sort of mask ourselves or hide ourselves in order to protect ourselves from certain people is how it's coming through. But I feel like what's coming, like, what the guidance here is to, like, be authentic no matter who is around you. And I feel like maybe there's a loss of, perhaps even like a loss of a particular identity that you are going through. That could be that as well. A loss of a particular identity that kept you connected to a certain group, maybe. And what that's saying, that loss of that identity is saying that that identity was somehow masking your truth. Yeah. Fire, Candle, Moon coming out next. Some people are operating under the ass-backward impression that a light grows dimmer when other lights are around. Can you imagine? That's just straight up black mentality, and I can assure you that this could not be further from the truth. The brighter you shine, the brighter we all shine. Still, the brilliance of one's light can only be truly known by the one who bears it and brings it forth, aka you. Are you honoring your light? Do you recognize the magnificence of your spirit? Or are you hiding in the shadows, pretending you're not meant to shine? Bring forth your light, love. It allows all of us to shine brighter. That is what I'm saying about the hiding your light, right? An aspect of yourself that was being hidden by the Eight of Pentacles. That in order for this light of yours to shine, the Eight of Pentacles had to be removed. Whatever this was that was sitting on your chest, it had to be removed. It could even be just like a burden, right? Like removing some sort of burden that you are using to protect yourself from the truth of who you are. And I feel like there's something here about when you do that, when that burden is released, news comes in. News is on the way. There's something about a King of Wands. I feel like that's not you. We're going to get one card about the King of Wands. They have news, or they're perhaps acting as like a divine messenger in some way. They have a message for you, perhaps. Wisdom. They have wisdom for you. They're very wise. Okay. The wisdom card asks us to move beyond the linear thread of logical thinking handed down to us by our parents, our schools, our media, and our society. It speaks to an infinite expanse of knowledge that exists beyond our indoctrination, a holistic intelligence that incorporates intuition, emotion, empathy, experience, and spiritual understanding. Wisdom is about being able to sense beyond the surface of what is being presented or offered, to perceive information multidimensionally. When this card appears, you know the spirits are talking about your journey along this path and are inviting you to gather and cultivate tools that will allow you to sense information from a more expanded perspective. Such tools will help you know where and how to insert this information back into society and into the minds of others at just the right time, so that they too can tap into the magic of wisdom themselves. Yeah. There's wisdom. I feel like you've gained wisdom, but also wisdom will be shared to you through a King of Wands energy. It doesn't have to be a specific person, but it feels almost like many people who are taking actions to help you is how it's coming through. To share their wisdom with you, to share their knowledge. There's intuition, emotion, empathy. It's so interesting because all of the things that I'm feeling right now, like through my body, like my nose is running, my throat is getting tight. Are all sort of like symptoms of someone crying. But for me, I'm not feeling sadness. There's something here about like being detached from an emotional experience that I feel like is important for you, especially if there's been a loss of some sort. Like maybe there's detachment from that, like not wanting to feel the emotions or being way too immersed in the emotions, where there's maybe somebody coming in to help to bring you out of that. Because what I was seeing is kind of like, I was seeing like water being boiled, right? Water being boiled with the heat, the fire, King of Wands, and what's left at the bottom. Like imagine if it's like water from the ocean or the sea, I should say. Water from the sea. You boil it off in like a pot. And what you're left with is salt, the wisdom. So I feel like there's this energy here of like fire, heat coming in to boil off the excess water in order to leave you with wisdom. That's how it's coming through today. Which is so interesting for you group 4. Because I'm not like, I feel like there's something here about, yes, of course, feeling your emotions. I don't know how long you have been in this state, but it feels like there's something here about like, I feel like someone has been distracting themselves from feeling a tough emotional experience through work with the 8 of Pentacles. And once the work sort of is removed, I feel like that's when the emotions are actually felt, is how it's coming through. I feel like if there are any like resentments, that's becoming clear now. And also work through. I feel like there's also a very, very strong energy here about authenticity. That was coming through a lot with the water sign readings. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.